We're doing story time today. Me and Jasmine, we're having a conversation about my bariatric sleeve surgery and going through the bariatric program. So I've decided to tell my story about it. I have been through the bariatric program 3 times. The first time I went through it, I did not have a very good support system. My significant other at the time, she was supportive. I asked her, hey, remind me I need to do protein first. Whenever eating, I need to, get some exercise in because the doctors want me to lose 15 pounds. She was very supportive with those 2 things. Overly supportive, I would say, to the point to where, it kind of seemed like she was pushing me instead of motivating me. So I was laying in bed one night and I was watching the motivational videos of how people lost weight. And some people did it without gastric surgery. So I decided to talk myself out of having bariatric surgery. I said, I can do this myself. It's no big deal. I can lose the weight naturally. I can change my lifestyle as far as like my eating habits. I can do it without any help. In the back of my mind, I knew I couldn't. And it's not because the lack of motivation, it was just the lack of, I would say, good health, to be honest. And it's not that I am very unhealthy, it's just some things in your genetics keep you from being able to reach weight loss goals. And this is something that my nutritionist ended up explaining to me, that, if your body is not healthy, then the rest of you can't be healthy. So I talked myself out of having gastric surgery the first time because I thought I could do it myself. The second time I went through the gastric program or bariatric program, I had state insurance. And if you have state insurance, the state will pay for you to have bariatric surgery. The only thing is that you have a lot more hoops to jump through. Rather than private insurance. For state insurance, they had me doing nutrition classes for 3 months, twice a month for 3 months, and that is a lot. It may not seem like a lot, but it's a lot, especially whenever you're getting the same information every time you go. It is a lot of times to have to see a nutritionist. And then after being on seeing a nutritionist for 3 months, then you have to see a physical doctor for them to approve it. You have to see a counselor of some sort, whether it's your med provider or just a counselor. Somebody's just stating that you mentally understand what you're going through and what you have to do afterwards. After finding out that I had to see the nutritionist for 3 months, I went twice and decided this is not for me. I don't need this surgery. I don't need to go through this program. I just lost interest more than anything. So I decided to drop out of the bariatric program again. This final time that I went through it, it went a lot faster. I have my insurance through work, so insurance pushed me through a lot quicker than what state insurance would. So I seen my doctor, I seen my counselor, and then I seen my bariatric doctor, and boom, everything went through pretty quickly. I did have a couple of issues, like health-wise, like vitamin D deficiency, that I thought was holding me up. Come to find out that is not true. But I mean, after getting labs done, after seeing a counselor, making sure that you're mentally able to withstand having surgery and understanding everything afterwards, you get done pretty quickly. You get through pretty quickly. So I decided that I was going to have the surgery because I had a good support system. I had friends and family that were pretty concerned. I'm not going to lie. They were pretty concerned, but they were very supportive of my decision. They knew this was something that I've been wanting for quite a few years because my journey actually began back in 2021. We are now in 2025, so it's taken me 4 years to finally decide, yes, this is something that I need. This is something that I want to do. So finally, with a good support system, even with coworkers, friends, and family, I was able to get through it. The day after surgery, I was definitely questioning my life decisions just because things were a little tender, and you don't realize how emotional it's going to be because you don't realize how different things are going to be. Doctors and nurses, the whole staff talk about how you're only able to eat a little, don't drink while you're eating because water or, liquids take up more space. They talk about these things, but you don't completely understand it until you go through it. Your stomach after surgery can only hold about an ounce of food or about an ounce of liquid. And it is an entirely different life experience than being told. I, during counseling, realized that I am not an emotional eater. Whenever I feel some type of emotion, I actually shut down and I don't eat at all. So it's not so much a food addiction for me. For me, it's more, I don't know. But it's not food addiction. Maybe it's just, lack of liking certain foods for me. So I realized pretty quickly, though, after surgery, the first week, you're on a liquid diet, and I broke down because I could only take 2 bites of pudding. And I'm like, this is frustrating. I feel hungry. I feel like I want to eat something. I did eat something, but it felt like I hadn't. Like, the reward is eating that full pudding cup whenever you're hungry. That was different to me, and it made me frustrated. I wasn't so much sad about it. I was just frustrated because I'm like, I feel hungry. Like, why can't I not eat? Like, this is not what I'm used to. So it was kind of an emotional roller coaster the first 2 months, just because it is different. It is a different lifestyle than what you're normally used to. Growing up, being able to eat whatever, and then suddenly you're reduced to this very small amount of food. It is a different way of life. I wish somebody would have instilled that in me before I had surgery so that I knew what to expect, rather than just saying it in passing. Because we don't expect that emotional change. A lot of people do have an emotional connection to food, so it becomes like I'm losing a best friend. For me, it was just frustration, but even with frustration, it became a roller coaster because I decided, hey, what's the point of eating since I can only take 2 bites? What's the point of going out to lunch with friends when I'm just going to be sitting there most of the time? What is the point of eating breakfast because I'm going to take a bite of it and then the rest of it's going to go to waste? So it became a roller coaster that I had to try to navigate. Now, I try to make more of like a toddler's plate. That is one of my nutritionist suggestions, was to get a toddler plate and use that, because whenever you see a big plate, you want to fill up the whole thing, which now you can't even eat that much food after having gastric sleeve surgery. So most of that will go to waste. So she suggested to get a toddler plate and just put the biggest portion, make it your protein, and then everything else in the other corners of the plate. That way you're getting most of your protein, and then you have your sides. This is something that I have not implemented yet, I'm not going to lie. But whenever I do make a plate, I do try to make a plate that I would feed a toddler, just because it makes it less frustrating. Visually seeing it doesn't makes sense, but whenever you do sit down to eat something, you do get pretty full pretty quick, so it makes sense. I lost my train of thought. I lost my train of thought. Uh, um, but yeah, so there comes a emotional roller coaster with things. Eating is definitely a chore, I would say. Like, it has become a chore. For the most part, most days, I'm not gonna lie, I eat Lunchables. I love Lunchables. I've loved Lunchables ever since I was a kid. So most days, that's what I eat for lunch is a Lunchable. I do try to stay away from like breads, rice, mashed potatoes because they are starch. They do say that you can eat as much mashed potatoes during recovery as you want to. It's not like you're really going to be able to eat much of it anyways. But I do try to stay away from a lot of carbs. I do try to stay away from soda. I stay away from chips. Just because those are those mindless eating things. I try to actually stick to stuff that I can say, hey, this has this amount of protein in it. I try to drink a protein shake a day. I'm not going to lie, that has become a chore because I only like one flavor and I only like one brand. So for me, it has become a chore. But not everybody is the same. Not everybody's taste buds are the same. There's a lot of things that I don't like. I'm not going to lie. I have been called picky. I did notice that I do have like food sensitivities now. My stomach can't handle spicy. I can't handle eggs. I can handle chicken. I just can't handle a lot of it. But like I said, not everybody is the same. This is just from my experience. Yeah, I don't know what else to say, and I feel like I'm rambling. So I'm going to end it here. If you guys think of any questions, just feel free to comment, and I will answer them the best that I can. You guys have a great night.